So the way we face traffic, technology is also facing some traffic. Allow it few seconds to come up. Okay, good morning everyone. We all up, right? Okay, what do we see here? What do we see here? Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, blockchain, yeah, big data, data visualization. What do you call it? You call it fiction, you call it facts. How many of us believe it's a fiction? Raise of hands. Yeah, how many of us believe it's a fact, it's a reality? Yeah, most of us, yeah. So anywhere, right? If in your mind, back of your mind, if you think it's not a fact, look at these pictures. These pictures I pulled from around 40, 50 years back of a database, so the clarity may not be that sharp. This is around 1950s where people imagined that we may have a system where people, when talking with each other, will be able to see the videos of the other person. Imagination when people said we'll have gadgets on our wrist where we'll be able to talk with the people to see the pulse rates and things like those. An imagination where we said we'll have driverless cars. Another imagination where we said we'll be able to transmit the electronic notes between the people. And the last one where we said we'll have restaurant on wheels. We'll have vans where the restaurant will be catered, right? This all were kind of imagined years back, and I don't need to say whether it's a reality today or not. So whatever that we hearing, the buzzwords that we are hearing in the space today, are the reality of the life today? To some extent, if not, it's going to be the reality soon. So what we are in the space of a digital revolution. We are in the space of the transformation. And believe me, nobody is away from it. You call government, you call businesses, you talk about institutions, you talk about agencies, you talk about bankers, you talk about people like you and me. All of us are part of it. So when all of us are part of it, how can finance be away from it? So welcome once again. Good morning all. I'm Bharat Agrawal. A generous introduction given by Shamin here. So I work with Diversey. We are into the space of chemical and machine, which are used for the professional hygiene and cleaning solution. You wouldn't have heard our name, but we play a role in your life on a daily basis. So that's me and my company. What I'm going to talk about today is the finance and the role of digital, how we are kind of going about it. When it comes to finance, I was there in a panel discussion yesterday with some of the industry leaders. We all agreed that finance has seen a big transformation in last few decades, right? Right from being Munimji in a company to sitting on the board today, right? You play the role of everything that happens in the operations to being the strategist of the company. So everything is being done by the finance folks. So when finance is playing such an integral and an overarching part in companies' functioning, how can finance stay away from the digital transformation? So finance is playing a big part in terms of the digital transformation. In many companies, CFOs are playing the role of the digital office. CFOs are playing the role of the transformation officer, right? And COVID has given a boost to this entire scheme of things. Somebody was mentioning about work from home, which was never a case before, became a norm now. So that's where COVID has given a big boost to finance. And how things are changing in this space. So I'll take next 10-15 minutes talking about what's happening in finance space, what more can happen, some of the use case which I have seen in my experience so far, and yeah, we can discuss more about it. The first question that I've been asked to address is how technology is enabling CFOs, how technology is enabling finance function at large. So the first point that I'll say here is tradition remains same, right? Whether these were the earlier days of the CFOs or finance functions or the days today. The tradition was that finance remains a custodian of numbers. Yeah, the first responsibility of finance. Second was the cash custodian. Yeah, make sure the cash is kind of, with a trusted advisor. And the third role that finance has always played is ensuring the compliances of the company. So what I'm trying to say is that tradition doesn't go away. You change the shape, you change the way you work, but the tradition remains same. But the tools have helped all of us to do our jobs in a much more efficient way, thanks to the ERPs that came in the start of 2000s to where we stand today. The job that our finance function used to do, say in 100% time, today that happens in 5 to 10% of the time. That's where it gives the space for finance folks to play a much bigger role in the organization. Coming to the second point, integrated functions. So what's helping finance in terms of the digital transformation and the changes that we're seeing in this space is the functions are now integrated. Earlier, finance people used to run around and understand what's happening in each function. Today, thanks to the enterprise resource tools that you have, right from raising a procurement or the purchase order, how it's going to impact to your balance sheet in terms of the working capital. When a sales order comes, you know how it's going to impact your trade receivable. So that's the kind of visibility that we have got with the digital transformation in this space. And the last one is the data availability, right? Earlier, we used to run around to find where the data stands. Today, thanks to the technology, thanks to the entire digital revolution that has taken place, data, big data, data lake, everything exists for you. What finance has to do is pick those data, find insights from it, and give it a story for the decision making. Yeah, these are the three things which technology has really enabled finance function and given a tool to play a larger role. Quickly moving on to the next slide. Here, the ask was to talk about artificial intelligence and RPA and how are they changing some processes. So some of the things that I'm going to talk about, many of you would have already implemented, some not. Let's discuss about that. The first piece, right, that got quickly into it is accounts receivable. So I'm sure all of us probably used to have checks in the earlier time, to a time where we have moved where we have RTGS flowing in, to a time where we have moved where there are mandates being signed and you auto pull the amounts from your customer's account. Yeah, so gone are those days where you follow up for the checks from the customers. And I'm sure many of you are aware there are virtual codes available where you, with the money directly coming into your account, you know who has remitted that amount. And with the click of buttons, you can make sure the entries are taken into the books. I was talking with an industry leader yesterday who said they used to pass around 10,000 entries a month. Thanks to the credit, thanks to this kind of a transformation, which helped them to make it as minimum as possible. So with the click of button, they cite the amount in the bank. They say, okay, this money has come from this customer, which invoice you want to knock off. You just do a tick mark of it and system understand which account it should go, debit and credit. So all those things are very well taken care of with the digital coming in this space. Accounts payable. Procurement, procure to pay, right? This entire cycle has gone digital. Earlier, you used to have people who used to sit and make checks. Still, do we have anyone here who deal in checks for making payment to the vendor? Sorry? Yeah, that can be the case. Anyone who make, go to the banking portal and do authorizations, finance, non-finance, we have some cases, definitely. That's also going to change soon, thanks to a technology which is coming in. So in your ERP, if you define that that you do a three-way match for your invoices, there is a PO, there is a PI that has come in, there is a GRN already taken place. You don't really need to go again on the banking portal and do an authorization over there. Believe me, you have 100 transactions. As an authorizer, you are not able to do the justice by looking into each transaction, right? So again, digital is going to change big time this space as well. And you will have this entire piece talking in a way where people are eliminating those redundant steps in this entire space. Next one is the intercompany reconciliations. I don't need to elaborate more. I'm sure all of us know in the earlier systems where you don't have same platform for two intercompanies, we used to have differences on the IC front, which are taken care of with the digital coming in. Yeah, inventory management, again, this has been a space where a lot of working capital, lot of money used to get stuck, right? With you having now visibility of across locations where the inventory is standing, as a CFO, as a finance function, you can add value by looking into those elements and eliminating the obsolescence risk that comes to your books. The next point is T&E space. I'm sure you have partners here. When you get breaks, do talk with them. T&E space has gone through a big transformation in last few years, right? Earlier we used to have manual bills which used to come to finance function. They were supposed to check each bill against the claim, who has authorized, alcohol element and things like those. With the new technologies coming in, OCR can play a big role in terms of knowing the right eligibility of the claim that has come in, the right elements of the item sitting in that bill, and finance function can be made quite relaxed in terms of spending a lot of time that I'm sure AP and T&E teams used to spend earlier. Moving on, payroll, again, it's a known space, so I'll not really spend time on it. Tax and treasury has really gone through a big change and will go further with the blockchain coming in the treasury space. So tax, I'm sure all of you know, with GST coming in, that was a very big revolution or a reform in this space. So earlier people were used to having, say, a yearly return or a bi-yearly returns. With GST coming in, things change completely different. You have systems where vendor payments are made only if the ITC credit is reflected on the portal. So that's the kind of integration that has taken place now. And if you use technology rightly, again, you have some partners here in the room. If you talk with them, you will understand how you can link your ERP with their systems to make sure you're only making payment to the vendors who are rightfully depositing the tax amount that you're paying to them, to the government authority. So those are the kind of things that have taken place, change that have taken place in the tech space. And treasury is going through change and will go through more change with the blockchain coming in. Yeah, why to go digital, right? We're talking about digital, why to go? I have 4 options and I would like your voting on that. I don't have any tool, we'll just go with the raise of hands. First is productivity. How many of you believe we should go for digital for the sake of productivity? Yeah, good number of candidates. Compliance, how many of you believe compliance is a necessary thing? Again, good participation. Working capital requirement, true. Just because others are doing it, I should also do it. Yeah, no, right? In the last session, I had some enthusiastic people who said, raised hand for this as well. So what I'm trying to say that all these are good, right? Except fourth, all 3 elements are really helping you to drive the transformation for your organization. But what is really the purpose behind doing a transformation? So for me, I would call this as the major goal of mine when I do any transformation. I would like to enhance the experience of my people. And in people, I have 3 categories. First is customer. So whatever you do, keep your customer in mind. If it solves a problem for him, it's going to be a successful project for the complete organization. If it solves a problem for your business stakeholders, you have different sales streams, right? You have different functions in the company. If it solves the problem for them, it's going to be a blockbuster for you. And third important set of people is the finance community. So all of us come from finance. I'm sure all of us know how good our work-life balance is. So any new project, if it helps in resolving the problem of work-life balance for your teams, will be a successful thing for you. So these 3 people are very important element to kind of keep in mind when you start your transformation journey. So talking about customer experience, what I would say what you can improve upon is the visibility of accounts. In my current organization where I work, we have around 400 distributors. We make sure all of them get a visibility of their accounts on a daily basis. So our system trigger a balance statement to them on a daily basis where they know how much of goods that I bought from Diversey, how much of payment that I made to them, so they have a daily visibility of things. Can it be made real time? Yes, it can be made real time. That's something that you have to really look at. Reducing time in payment and confirmation. I really look at digital transformation as a mean to bring the social revolution. When I say so, look at RBI introducing NPCI, right? National Payment Corporation of India in the year 2012 or so. Post that, there have been several reforms that we have seen in this space. ACH, which has come in the institutional space, just like EMIs that you see on the retail space. UPI has been another a big kind of a reform, which many European countries doesn't have today. So what you can do as a finance, right? Think about it very comprehensively. Can you make many more payment points for your customer base for them to make payment to your company? Or you are still sticking with the traditional forms of receiving payments from the customer? Look at how you can promote financial inclusion by using the power of technology. And it is very well doable with the tools that we have in the system today. So that's my another important takeaway for you, that look how you can reduce the time of making payments for your customer community, where they have a visibility of what they are making payment for, how fast they can make the payment for, and how quickly they can get a confirmation for what they have made a payment for. Moving on, third thing is bill discounting. Believe me, all of us are going through a very uncertain time, right? We call it as an unprecedented time. We call it as a VUCA world. Just like you and your businesses, believe me, your customers are also going through the similar stress. Your vendors are also going through the similar stress. How do you make sure that you kind of make their life easy? So in this entire chain, if anywhere you can introduce an element of bill discounting for them, it can really solve a big problem for them. And it is very well doable with a lot of fintech players are into this space. So another important point that you can do to enhance your customer experience. Yeah, predicting the future with analytics. When I was talking about how AI and RPA has changed the lives of finance function, I didn't mention about one function. Which function was it? Any idea? Yep. All this is true, but I was talking about FP&A. So FP&A is one of the important function, right? Before 2000s, right, when the 21st century started, CFOs have never been called as a business partner. Last couple of decades, CFOs have been called as a business partner, or finance has been called as a business partner, where financial due diligence is needed in each and every element, starting from operations to making strategies of the company to deciding the vision and purpose of the company. So in this space, right, what's very important for a finance professional is to understand how he can bring the value on the table, how his insights can add value to the decision making that he has been asked for. So for doing that, right, what I would say change the name of your function from FP&A to IP&A. So what you have to really do is look how you can make your entire planning and analytical process more integrated with all the elements happening around. So far, FP&A used to use only data that comes from your systems, have some trends in mind, and make the projection basis that. What I'm inviting you to think about is how you can make this thing more dynamic. Financial planning will definitely remain a part of the function, but what you can further add on is the demand planning, more rational demand planning into this space. Today we are going through a very kind of a difficult or a different geopolitical space, where you don't know when China will settle on COVID, where you don't know when Europe will settle on the inflation. Yeah, so keeping all these things in mind, how do you factor the domestic things gonna change? How do you factor the international developments into your demand planning? All these things are so critical. Believe me, I joined Diversey almost a couple of years back, and I was presenting the financials of India Subcontinent to the group CEO. It was just a month later from my joining, and I've been asked, right, to comment on my comfort for the year's projection. It's just a month in the system, and I said, should this question really come to me? But that's the kind of trust and confidence that the management, that the board has on CFOs, that today they are not just asking you for accounting or control, but they're asking you to ensure that the revenue projections that you are making, the profit projections that you are making, is thoroughly kind of, has been given a comfort to you. So if for that, I think what you need to have is when a salesperson comes and say, look, I'm going to do 100 next year, you should have all the domestic and international factors in your mind. That's where you will be able to make it a more integrated planning rather than just a financial planning. Quickly moving on in this space, again, the entire cycle of your product, right from raw material to finished good, is going through a big change. the product availability is not in the same BAU affairs. So what you have to do, right, when a supply chain plans are being made, when sales plans are being made, bring that rationale into the discussion when you speak with them about this entire space of supply chain disruption that we are talking about. Quickly moving on, competition movement. Again, as I said, it's not a BAU, it's a very dynamic space that we are in. So you can't assume the market share that you enjoy today is going to stay there. So with that light, what is more important that you as a CFO understand, you as a finance person understand how the dynamics of the competition changing. So if you keep all these things in mind, I'm sure you will have a more integrated, more confident plan, which you can go to the board and convince with. So that's my take on predicting the future. Last slide, I would say it's an opportunity. We're all lucky that we are in an era where we're seeing this revolution. It's like boarding a flight. Yeah, this is that flight, where you don't only have an option to sit on the back seats, you have an option to be a pilot and co-pilot, right? Someone just said you should be a pilot of the plane. So you have a chance to be the pilot and co-pilot, but the time is very limited. This plane is not going to stay forever. This plane is going to fly. So make sure you board the plane and choose the right place for you before it flies. So yeah, I'm good with this. That's my company. We're doing a lot of stuff on the innovation for our clients and making their lives easy. If you want to know more about it, get in touch. That's my LinkedIn handle. You can get in touch. I can't do justice to this discussion in 20 minutes, but available to talk anytime you want. Thank you.